Hey, hey, hey. Thanks again for pressing play and welcome once again to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network brought to you by FanDuel, where today's actually kind of one of those fun FanDuel days, right? You have the AFC Championship, the NFC Championship. So, if you text a couple buddies, hey, you got a leg, I got a leg, let's put these legs together. You know what? You can walk away with a little money. Two catches away from, if Matt Collins had a couple catches, man, it would have been a really big day, but a good day on FanDuel. So make sure you stop by FanDuel and hang out with them. And if you need somebody to bet with, hit me up. I always got something to say or a thought on something. Phoenix Suns lose tonight, 111-102. Miami Heat season series goes to the Heat, just like the Hawks, right? 0-2 against the Hawks, 0-2 against the Heat, 0-4 against those two middle of the pack Eastern Conference teams. So as you walk away from that, not exactly what you wanted, but oh well. It is what it is. All things considered, all circumstances considered. Without Devin Booker, without Jalen Green, the Suns discombobulated tonight. Not a lot of direction, kind of rudderless, and then the shooting woes were unbelievably abhorrent is the word I'm going to use there. So plenty to talk about on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. You get me, Darth Voida, rocking solo here. So hopefully I have plenty to talk about and I keep you entertained while we hang out together on this one. Thank you for doing so. If you happen to be doing so, hit the subscribe button. Truly helps support the channel. Best way to do so is by hitting that subscribe button. So without further ado, crack them if you got them, Suns fans. Let's talk about this loss to the Miami Heat.
Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
Right, Jamsters, the Suns lose this one 111-102, which brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
So I got to ask, how you feeling after losing this game? 2 losses in a row, and we had won 3 in a row. Obviously, the injuries that occurred in the last game, frustrating. Lose this one, not the best way to open a 5-game homestand in any stretch of your imagination. So how you feeling? Because I'll tell you how I'm feeling. Emotional was poor Holden on the last podcast, because that's just one of those nights where, as a Suns fan, you get kicked in the gonads from time to time. You get throat punched times to time, and you fall into the malaise of being a Suns fan of, oh shit, here we go again. And so now here we are, a couple days departed from those injuries, a couple days of processing and being frustrated and pissed off, and oh, here we go again. We can't have nice things, all of that. And I've come out the other side, and I kind of look at it like, hey, you know what? We're just like every other team in the NBA, in all honesty. And you put up or shut up, Now we've truly learned what this team is going to be made of. Now we truly learn what is transferable on the Jordan Ott side relative to schematics and such. And if you think about it, the Suns have 100 days of missed basketball, or 100 games missed collectively over their 9 players who've been injured thus far this year. And that's like tied for 6th least in the NBA. We've been a relatively healthy team. Now, granted, Jalen Green missing 41 games at $33 million this season isn't ideal. Sporadic injuries, but when you look at the NBA landscape, that's the norm. So you process what those injuries mean, and we'll talk about those a little bit later, kind of updates relative to health and timelines and things of that nature. But you carry the hell on, right? Get busy living or get busy dying. You goddamn right. Okay, to quote our friend Red from Shawshank Redemption. So Suns play the Heat tonight, and I'll start with the things that didn't go right.
The Suns Jam Session, burn book.
The Suns Jam Session, burn book.
So when you lose 111 to 102. It was one of those frustrating nights where, it almost felt like the Suns and the Heat were gunslingers, right? And there was that proverbial, stereotypical tumbleweed blowing by as they both stood there. And going on. And when it was time to draw, the Suns couldn't shoot. They didn't have enough ammunition. And that's kind of where I start with my burn book was the Suns shooting tonight. It was atrocious. It was atrocious. They ended up shooting 20% from beyond the arc. They were 7 of 35. They only took 35 threes, which I thought was weird. Because if you take a look at what this team is, and this team is without Devin Booker, without Jalen Green, with Royce O'Neal, with Colin Gillespie, with Jordan Goodwin, with Grayson Allen, you'd think that this would be a team that would focus more on the three ball. And I felt like, and don't get me wrong, the Heat did a good job of running the Suns off the three ball at times, but the Suns were either reticent to shoot the three, and when they did, they were very inaccurate. So I almost feel like it was a confidence issue that this team was like, you know what? We're not hitting the three ball. And we've talked about this in the past, right? When you're not hitting the three ball, stop shooting the fucking three ball, drive into the basket, try to gain some momentum, try to gain some points that way. But in the same breath, you have to, especially in a game like this, you have to try to find opportunities to get wide open looking threes. And that was the challenge tonight. And I honestly think that it kind of starts with the way that Jordan Ott used Grayson Allen tonight.
Let me tell you a little story about a guy who shoots threes. Everyone hates him because he's a dookie. He's pretty underrated if you're asking me. His name is Grayson Allen.
So Grayson Allen in this game ends with 18 points, 9 of 10 from the free throw line. So he got half of his points at the line, and that's because without Devin Booker, Jalen Green, we've seen it before, right? In the Detroit game, Grayson Allen was the tip of the spear. He was offensively. He was who the team was going to kind of run their offense through or be the end of an action. And he ends 1 of 11 from deep. 1 of 11. Not a great showing from Grayson Allen from beyond the arc in this one. And that's because they were focusing on him being the primary scorer, in my opinion, versus him being somebody who can distribute, because he can distribute. And I feel like with his ability to penetrate, which he can do, it's not great. It's not Jalen Green-esque, right? He's not beating a guy off the dribble and boom, touching the paint. But he can do that. He's not doing it with great athleticism, but he can do it. And I feel like he was too focused on trying to score in the paint versus dishing the ball out and finding wide open shooters. And when he did dish it to wide open shooters, and this is probably why, the chicken and the egg, right? What came first? Well, he did that first, and he dished it to Royce O'Neal, and then Royce O'Neal would miss because Royce O'Neal was 0 of 7 from beyond the arc. So in this game, one of the main reasons why the Phoenix Suns lost to the Miami Heat is because Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal combined 1 of 18 shooting from beyond the arc. Clip that, because that's right there. That's a major reason why they lose this game. Another reason why they lose this game, the ball movement was subpar. They ended with 14 assists on 37 made shots. Just not moving the ball with the same precision. And it goes to show you how important having Devin Booker out there is. On the words point book aren't taboo this season because Devin Booker can drive the offense. He can create the gravity to open up his fellow teammates to make open shots. And without him on the floor, you see a team that, again, plays a little chaotic. That's by design. That's how Jordan Ott wants this offense to function. But ultimately, without him being the driving force or the steadying force, this team ultimately collapsed. And that's why we saw poor ball movement, poor assists. And obviously, you're not going to make a lot of assists when nobody can shoot the fucking ball. Clip that. So a couple reasons right there. I'll take a quick look at the chat. And again, thank you for hanging out. J959, 3 ball only comes from the Suns touching the paint and then kicking out if the basket isn't there, 100%. And I feel like a lot in this game, they did kick out at times, but then nobody connected on the shot. But they were a lot more focused on trying to attack the interior because ultimately that's what worked last time they played Miami when they had that comeback when they were down 20 against Miami in Miami, a game that they ultimately lost. They were attacking the paint in the second half, and that's what got them back in the game. And then timely threes. Well, tonight they were attacking the paint, wasn't really working as good. And then the timely threes just simply weren't there. Win Phoenix. Please don't play the Allen drop. I'm done with him. My apologies. I already did that. And Stacker 1. Royce's defense, I don't know. Shrug. Kind of there with you. So another thing that goes into my burn book in this one is the way that the Suns were on the boards. They ended up being respectable. The final tally was 59-56 in favor of Miami. And the Suns actually ended with more offensive rebounds than the Miami Heat. Second chance points were tied at 19 apiece. But if you look at the first half, the Miami Heat out-rebounded the Suns and had 15 second chance points to only 4 for Phoenix. And I felt like that was a big part of the Suns struggling, especially in that first quarter. The first quarter, 9 second chance points, and the Suns were down 32-21 at the end of the first quarter, and the Suns had 0 second chance points. So their ability to affect the game relative to rebounding was not efficient. The highest rebounder tonight, Mark Williams with 8, but just no one with 10. They both, Andrew Wiggins and Norman Powell, had 10 rebounds a pop. So a wing and a guard out-rebounded us, and that's what was killing. They were crashing effectively while the Suns weren't boxing out appropriately. And one thing to watch the Suns, and this is something that I appreciate, and I'm going to talk about Kaman Malawach a little bit later because he had kind of a unique day, both him and Rasheer Fleming. But one thing that the Suns typically do well is they identify a body when a shot's going up to box out. They're not boxing out position based on instinct and where the ball's going to land. They're looking for a body to simply box out. Tonight, we didn't see that. And that's a credit to the Miami Heat because it's almost like a defense, right? I've watched a lot of football today, and you see a lot of defenses disguising what they're doing, and ultimately they'll drop out or they'll blitz when you're not expecting it. That's kind of what the Heat did tonight. The Heat would send their, Norman Powell from the side, and nobody identified him as a body, and then boom, there's a rebound for him. And the Suns just weren't doing a good job identifying bodies tonight. And it's something that they do, and I feel like it's a cultural thing. It's something organizationally that they've identified that that's a better way to get rebounds and create extra possessions. Tonight, that just wasn't there. Let's see. We got to stop throwing the ball away. I wrote that in my notes as well. Suns ended with 11 turnovers. The Heat had 12. But the Suns had 6 in that first quarter. They ended with what? They took better care of it at the back end of the game. I'll give them that. I'll give them that. But yeah, for me it was 3-point shooting and lack of ball movement and just lack of confidence. The team didn't look confident tonight. Jordan Goodwin missed some bunnies, and after that, he was unbelievably passive offensively. And Eddie Johnson said on the broadcast, and we know that something that Jordan Ott does is he wants his guys to shoot the ball. Jordan Goodwin has said it in the interview on the Old Man of the Three that he appreciates how Jordan Ott operates because he's like, I've never had a coach who constantly and consistently is telling me to shoot the ball. And tonight that confidence wavered. Jordan Goodwin ends 1 of 7 from the field. 0 of 2 from beyond the arc, only has 2 points. And he does his other stuff. He's disruptive and grabbing his rebounds. And as the Suns go through this upcoming stretch where Devin Booker's out and Jalen Green is tentatively out, Jordan Goodwin's going to have to be that guy to come in off the bench and play with the fervor and the passion and the confidence that he normally does. And tonight, it was just not there. He missed a couple of those bunnies, and he was shook after that. J959, great question here. Lack of ball movement. Is some of that on coach? You could say some of that is on Coach Jornot, but I really feel like it was just a lack of confidence and familiarity with some of the players out there. No Devin out there to, again, be the steadying of the ship. So you've shifted roles and responsibilities, and you can talk about it all day. You can coach it all day. But until you get in those situations, and credit the Heat. The Heat are a team that is number one in the NBA in pace, and they're a team that is a top 8 defensive team in the NBA, and they're long. And so they collapse appropriately. They're smart. They're well coached. So they were taking things away from the Phoenix Suns tonight. They were taking away passing lanes. They were taking away open looks, and they were playing with the pace and the disruptiveness that we normally see from the Phoenix Suns. I mean, obviously, the Suns don't play with nearly the same pace, but we play with a level of disruptiveness, and the Miami Heat do that. And that's why coming into both games against the Heat over the past 10 days, I said, don't sleep on this team. This is a good, unique team. The way that they play offense, again, I've said this before, but I'll repeat it. It's very unique because they're not a big high screen and roll team. Typically, you run a screen set to try to open up either the shooter or the roll man. You want to see what the defense does. Do they drop? Do they blitz? Do they go over the screen? Do they go under the screen? What do they do relative to how do they react to what you're doing? Ultimately determines what you do, and then the actions you can run off of that. Spain pick and roll, pop it, or pick and pop, things of that nature. The Miami Heat don't do that on offense. They like isolation. We saw it with Jaime Jaquez Jr. tonight, right? How many times did he just take the ball down, go one-on-one, spin, and then do something, right? And if that's not there, if the defense is too stringent, or if help comes, he dishes to an open guy. They play a very unique offense that actually the Memphis Grizzlies ran last year, and Ja Morant never liked it because Ja Morant, he likes high screen rolls because he wants to have the ability to read a defense. Whereas in this, it's a lot less reading and more reacting and taking advantage of utilizing your athletic ability to take advantage of the opposition. So just a weird night all around, but a good question there. Getting tested, Mark Brooks, 100%. The Suns will be tested. The great thing about everything that's going on is, one, it's temporary. Two, and for those of you who watch or go to the YouTube page or visit the TikTok page, if you don't follow me on TikTok, @SunsJam, you can follow us there. It's one of the things I talk about. I put out a lot of shorts now. It's like my new thing. I'm like, I write articles all the time. And I'm like, why don't I just make like a quick minute short about the article I just wrote? And one of the articles that I wrote that came out yesterday or this morning, I don't remember. I feel like it was this morning, was essentially saying that there's never a good time to have Devin Booker and Jalen Green go down, but if it's going to be a time, now's the time. Because we have now 9 games until the All-Star break. And then you have 8 days off. So there's rest built in there. Now, granted, the competition's tough. The combined winning percentage of 539 is what the teams that we're playing over this next stretch have. Now, Brooklyn's on Tuesday. You have some cupcakes, if you will, quote unquote, in there. But you got OKC in there. It's the standard NBA schedule. But if you're going to have a time to do it, now's the time. And it's a good time because, as Mark Brooks says in the chat, they are getting tested. And now we have an opportunity to see these lineups without Devin Booker. Tonight, they failed that test. Tonight is an opportunity for Jornot and his team of coaches and video coordinators to take a look at what the Suns did with these lineups and work on those things, to coach those things. Because somewhere, some way, somehow, they'll have an opportunity based on what's occurring right now, and it might be in a playoff game, to throw a 5-minute wrinkle of a lineup we saw here in January, and something they identified that worked. So that's how I kind of look at what's going on right now. All right, Jamsters, let's talk about the bright side.
Tell me the
Right side.
All right, the good things from today/tonight. First thing, the status of Devin Booker.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Big Dick Booker.
So it is an ankle sprain for the BDB. and he will be reevaluated in 1 week. That was the news that came out today. And a lot of people speculated that it would be a 4 to 6 week injury, and we don't know yet. It could end up being, but don't fall for the speculation. Don't fall for the clickbait. Don't fall for somebody putting a graphic together and then says, Booker, report, Booker out 4 to 6 weeks. I know it's enticing and we want information. And in this world we live in, information's constantly and consistently flowing into our fingertips through our phones, so we know what's going on. But that doesn't always mean it's the right information. You have to wait to hear from the team. You have to wait to hear from the people who are close to the team and report, like Dwayne Rankin, Kellen Olson, Amanda Pflugrad, Kevin Young. Those are the people who know what's going on. And just because you know somebody who knows somebody who can DM somebody who's a trainer on the team, like that's not a proper source. And it was funny just over the past couple days hearing all these people and all the Twitter doctors out there informing us of how long Devin Booker will come out. And then they're like, yeah, we'll reevaluate him in a week. And then you have today, he's at the Valley Suns game. And shout out to Melissa Moore in the chat. She goes, you guys, my son and I got free tickets to a Valley Suns game today. And Booker came was like 25 feet in front of us. He was right there. LOL. It was so cool. That's awesome. And tell me how you get those free tickets. Because if you've never been to a Valley Suns game, they're highly entertaining. And the fact that Devin Booker was there is one thing. But the other fact is that he was there and he wasn't on crutches. He wasn't in a boot. He was wearing the book ones, like the low pro book ones. So yes, Shane Young, not Kevin Young, my bad. But at the same time, that's a good sign because he's not in a boot. He's not on crutches, right? It's going to take some time. We saw him tonight at the game when the game's over and he's not walking around limping around, right? If you're out 4 to 6 weeks, yeah, we've seen it with Kevin Durant. So that's a good thing. That's a bright side thing. The other bright side thing is Jordan Knott says that the MRI on Jalen Green came back with quote unquote nothing new, which is great news for the team. He went through a workout today. There was video of him in doing a pregame workout, twitchy, moving fast. He said he'll be out tonight with the right hamstring tightness, and they're going to continue to monitor it. But Jalen Green might not be as far away as we initially, doomsday, myself included, thought, because you're just like, Jesus Christ, this thing can't get fixed. So when is it going to be fixed? Is he out for the season? Like, should we trade him? Like all the horrible, dark places your mind goes to when those things occur. But ultimately, he'll probably be out for a few games. Best case scenario, come back Tuesday. Who knows? But again, this is a great opportunity for him because, as I mentioned, the team running sets without Devin Booker. Imagine them getting run out there for the next week or two with Devin Booker out, but Jalen Green's out there. And that develops their on-court chemistry and their camaraderie and again, puts things on film that can help Jordan know and understand what kind of lineups he can run when Devin Booker's not out there. So there's a lot of little positive things that are in here that have presented themselves once you sit down and you think about it. Mark Brooks says, I remember KJ playing almost an entire season with a bad hammy. I do too. Wasn't that the year they went to the finals? I feel like, was it there that year or the year after that he was just like hurt? And he was older, obviously, than Jalen Green. Looking at tonight's game, a couple of bright side things. Isaiah Livers. Fantastic game from Isaiah Livers. He hit a buzzer beater that ended the third quarter. He ended the night playing a total of 15 minutes. He was 4 of 4 from the field, 1 of 1 from beyond the arc. Had 5 rebounds and 6 points. I liked what I saw from Isaiah Livers. We haven't seen him a lot on this team because 1, he's been injured, and 2, just like from a rotational standpoint, he's kind of the odd man out because the team really wants to give Ryan Dunn more runway. Rasheer Fleming's gotten minutes to open the second quarter, and those would be Liver minutes. But he is a quality depth guy to have on your team. For those of you who don't remember, played at Michigan and has the skill to be a quality, again, depth piece on the team. And I like to see, and he's the one who brought the best energy tonight. Yeah. Vasnivi. I'm not even saying that right. V.A. Snivy says Livers was so good he needs a drop. I'm thinking about it. You know why? Because he delivers. Something like that. I'll be like, it's like a pizza man. He delivers. He's like your Uber Eats driver, man. He delivers. But I liked what I saw from him tonight. And then a guy who had a good night, and we're going to need him to have some good nights.
Dylan, the villain.
Dylan, the Valley Villain. 26 points tonight, led all scorers in the game, had 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 block shots, no technical fouls, 11 of 23 from the field. So 23 points to get 26. And it's funny because I wrote an article about, looking forward. And I ended the article. I was just like, the last thing we need, though, is like 23 shots a night from Dylan Brooks. He goes out for 23 shots tonight. Just kind of funny. But a solid game from him. Still has his no yes shots. It's understandable. But I really think that he's the only one who really kind of just got aggressive, almost too aggressive, but he's the one who would back down, played physical, played within the confines of his normal game. Everybody else is kind of trying to adjust to a new role, right? We're not getting enough playmaking from Colin. Grayson Allen should be playmaking, but he's not. He's just penetrating and then taking threes that he normally hits, doesn't hit, right? Dylan just kind of continued doing his thing, and I didn't hate it. We're going to need that over this stretch. We need a secondary scorer, in this case, a primary scorer. Dylan Brooks ended up being that guy. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was Kaman Malawach and Rasheer Fleming.
Man, tired is just in the mind. Come on, Malawach Tower.
So this is very unique. Kaman Malawach played with the Valley Suns today, as did Rasheer Fleming. Malawach had 10 points. He had 15 rebounds. He had 3 blocks in that game. He had a steal. He had 5 turnovers. And everybody, whenever I post a graphic, and if you see these graphics online that show Kaman Malawach, and I'm tweeting them out, I create these graphics. I've got a bunch of sets of them I make when I'm bored. Again, I'm a fucking nut. But I make these graphics, and when I post these graphics after Kaman Malawach and Rasheer Fleming, whenever they play in the G League, I like to post a graphic about it. And it's always funny because everybody's like, 5 turnovers, that's concerning. It's like, he went for 10 and 15, and you always got to go with the turnovers, excuse me. There's a reason for that. That's because there's no point guards down on the Valley Suns, man. They got 2 shooting guards in like Damian Baugh and Shackelford. So there's no quality distribution. So sometimes he handles the ball probably more than he should, and he turns the ball over. But again, what I saw from him today when I was watching that game, kind of in between, I had that game on. I'm watching the AFC Championship at the time is the game that was on, and I was just impressed how he identified a body when he was boxing out. That's how he got 15 boards. It wasn't because he was just standing there waiting for the ball to come. He identified a body, boxed him out, then went up and got the boards. And then Rasheer Fleming, he played today as well with the Valley Suns. 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, 4 turnovers, 2 blocks. A solid stat-stuffing night. And again, when you see Sheer down there, and we'll go ahead and we'll give Rasheer Fleming some love. We'll play his drop.
The condor drifts on massive wings, stretching nearly 10 feet from tip to tip. It can soar for hours without a single flap, a quiet testament to endurance, precision, and survival. His name is Rasheer Fleming. He is the Camden Condor.
Now, the Camden Condor was down there in the G. His 3-point shot looks good. His length, man, he looks like an NBA player. Like Mr. Miramon says, another dud from Dunn. Give Fleming his minutes. Dunn's not even on a night like tonight. He played 8 minutes. Like Isaiah Liver got Dunn's minutes tonight. It's like Dunn is really starting to play himself out of the rotation, and it's because offensively he's kind of a zero, and defensively everyone will sit there and tell you how great of a defender is. He's average. I don't know. Like I'm with Mr. Miramon here. I'd rather give him the minutes to Rasheer Fleming. But I just thought it was impressive that they played at the G League down in Tempe, and then they actually got in tonight because Jordan Ott pulled the plug early, 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, or 2:42 to be exact, and put those guys in. But I just thought that was cool. That's like the advantage of having a a G League team, right? That's right in your backyard. I thought it was really cool. So let's go ahead and see what was going on the subreddit over there in Miami.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Brought to you by Nettles Air Conditioning.
You need a unit, we've got you covered. NettlesAirs.com is where to go, brother. Call 623-444-48. Nettles Air makes your home feel great.
Whoa. All right. So for those of you who are new to the show or you wonder why the fuck Batman's on the screen, I go on the opposing team subreddit during the game and I want to hear what they have to say. And I can't go dressed as myself. So I show up as Batman just to scare them or make them go, the fuck's he doing here? But here's what they had to say on the Heat's subreddit. Shout out to Sioux Falls legend Bleav. I liked his game when he was with it, but I always wondered if he'd ever be able to cut it at his size. Glad to see him having a good run with the Suns. So he played with he was with the Heat organization. Bro, what the fuck, Jacku? Talking about what the fuck's the guy's name? The guy who plays for the Heat, the rookie, Yakachunis. So if one to call him Jacku in their chat. Somebody's like, Jacku sounds nasty. Call him Kaz. Kasparis Yakachunis. They're trying to come up with nicknames over there. Phoenix whole roster is a nightmare blunt rotation. Brooks the type to hold it and talk. That's funny shit. Colin Gillespie not complaining after every single call challenge. Impossible. And this is what happens when you watch your own team. I don't really notice Colin Gillespie complaining after every play, but I guess he does. I kind of miss Bleav. Damn, the Suns look like us with all those bricked threes. Ooh, burns. Thank the Lord this Suns team is trash. We'd be getting killed by a good 3-point shooting team. And somebody responded, I know some of y'all don't watch Basketball Beyond the Heat, LOL. The Suns are not trash in any world. Thanks. Thanks, Funtel4941 over there on Reddit. Appreciate you standing up for them. Why does Dylan Brooks have a WordPress tattoo? Somebody said, I always think it's Washington Post. And then somebody says, big Wikipedia fan. Refs are really on our side today. LOL. Is this what OKC fans feel like? And they knew it in the chat. I mean, there were some bullshit calls tonight. Not the reason the Suns lost in any capacity, but some bullshit calls. Like there's a play where it's clearly off of Larson or whoever it was. And the ref is standing right there. He's like, yeah, Heat ball. It's like, are you shiting me? Like, come on. Be better. Do better. And then this is kind of a funny one to end the subreddit. Phoenix crowd looks rough, man. Lot of plastic surgery.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right, let's go ahead and hand out some hardware.
Jam Star of the Game.
Remember, Jamsters, subscribe, rate, review, hit that thumbs up button, set notifications to on. If you want to get all these little shorts that I'm doing, they're a minute long. I'm just giving you some news that's going on about the Phoenix Suns as it happens. Turn those notifications on. It's the best way to support the channel, man. Just subscribe. I mean, shout out. We've really been doing a good job with subscribers. It'd be cool one day to get to 5,000. That'd be kind of cool. But a reminder also that Jam Star of the Game is brought to you by Bubba Chubbs Cards and Collectibles. You can follow them at Bubba Chubbs Cards on Instagram. If you visit their website, BubbaChubbsCards.com, and insert code BUBBA10, you can get some pretty cool discounts on some pretty cool cards and collectibles. All right, Jam Star of the Game in this one. I got to go with Dylan Brooks, man. He had 26 points. He's the only one who felt and looked comfortable in this offense. I was really hoping Grayson Allen was going to be the guy today, man. He ended with 3 assists. Like his 6 assist line was like plus 650 on FanDuel. And I attached that to a couple parlays. I'm like Royce O'Neal, 15 points. Colin Gillespie, 15 points. Grayson Allen, 6 assists. Who says no? It was plus like 2,000. I could have made a lot of greenbacks if they just played their normal way, but they did not play their normal way tonight. The only guy who played their normal way, in my opinion, was Dylan Brooks. So that's gonna there's who's gonna get the jam star in this case. All right, capiche? Up next for the Phoenix Suns, Tuesday night, the Brooklyn Nets come to town. I'm going to check a score real quick because they were playing the Clippers tonight, which is a team that's fucking insane right now. And they lost by, oh man, they scored 89 points. They lost, let's see here, 126 minus 89 is, they lost by 37 points tonight to the Los Angeles Clippers. That's who's coming to town. So if you want a get-right game and you need a stopgap, because the last time the Suns lost 3 in a row was the beginning of the season. Remember when the Suns started like 1-4? That's the last time they lost 3 in a row. So you need to win this game on Tuesday against Brooklyn. Now, is Dave King's bright side night? I will be at the arena. Matthew will be at the arena. 400 kids. So to anybody who donated, thank you. We're sending 400 kids who never would have the opportunity to experience a Phoenix Suns game. They're going on Tuesday. As it pertains to scheduling relative to a podcast, I don't know if I'll be doing one that night. Maybe a late night one, but I'm going to be at the game. I'm not going to be driving home and doing the pod because my wife's coming with me to the game. So I'm not going to be, hey, sit right here and say nothing. So maybe I'll do a quick hitter once I get home. We'll see how it goes, but I still have to write an article too. So maybe no podcast on that one, but definitely an opportunity for a get-right game. Suns should win that game. I don't care if you don't got Devin Booker or Jalen Green. You should win that game. That's a team that's actively trying to tank. God knows why. They got 5 first-rounders next year. And they're like, yeah, we still need some more people. But the key to that game is just shut down Michael Porter Jr. And that's what happened last time we played them, right? We shut down Michael Porter Jr. We said anybody else can beat us. And they took their turns trying to, but they didn't beat us. So don't let them do it again, because then we'll really lose our shit. So let's see here. Before we get out of here, Mark Brooks, speaking of clips, whatever happened to the Kawhi aspiration scandal? Nothing. Money trumps all. Just always remember that, my friends. It's not about red versus blue. It's about rich versus poor. Go home and love your family.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.